Welcome back to the 311 Griffin YouTube channel. This is going to be the introduction in the first round, or half the first round of the Guns Only Double Elimination Tournament. Similar to what I did last year, but with guns only and with more aircraft. Now this isn't part of it that you're watching right here. This is just me doing a dogfight. And just for fun, for background video while I talk about this. So basically what happens is I put two AI aircraft in the map flying straight at each other, and I set them both to high. I set them co-altitude and as close to the same speed as I can, but some aircraft can't fly as fast as others, so I try not to disadvantage faster aircraft just because they're up against a slower aircraft, but I do try to get the slower aircraft as fast as I can, realistically. And then I make them fly at each other. Now I've played around with trigger or with the in-mission tasks, or I can't remember exactly what they're called. I've played around with them to try to force some aircraft to shoot at each other, and sometimes it's just too hard to get the aircraft to shoot at each other, and you'll see that. So some of these get a little boring, and I've tried to cut out as much as I could of the boring stuff, but still show what's going on. Basically, if neither aircraft gets destroyed, the first one that lands loses. Here's the way I've set it up, or the way I've made decisions on some of these. And in some cases, I might call a little bit of an audible, I guess, based on what I see, because it gets really infuriating trying to force two aircraft to shoot at each other, especially when if I were flying, the aircraft would try to shoot at me. It wouldn't necessarily care that it was set up for ground attack. It would probably still try to shoot at me. So, also, this skin is a work in progress. I meant to mention that earlier. This is one I've been working on. It's just a work in progress, and it's a long ways off from what it should be. So anyway, here are the rankings, and I won't read these off, but basically what I did is I just tried my best to estimate their speed, their maneuverability, and their guns only firepower. And I put extra weight on maneuverability and firepower. So the speed is much less. Everything, the agility or maneuverability and the guns only firepower is weighted double what the speed is. And then I average those. So I don't know that these are absolutely accurate. They're just kind of the best that I estimated, because this doesn't really matter that much. It's just for fun. So here you have it. This is the double elimination bracket, and so let's get that centered up here so you can see how they're lined out. I may have some typos in here, but anyway, hopefully this brings some enjoyment during, I know everybody's locked in right now, and so hopefully it gives people something to watch. So anyway, you see the games, and I'm just going to go in order of the matches, and you can see that the M2000C and the MiG-29 both got buys the first round. They're ranked 1 and 2. Again, I don't know if that's absolutely accurate, but it's just based on my estimations. So there you have it. And let's just get right into game 1 or match 1. This is the MiG-15 versus the C-101, and it should be CC, I believe. I think I just put C there on the bracket. So these guys are not, they're not paying attention to each other. They don't even care. And I'm doing the voiceover after I actually recorded this, so I know what's going to happen. I might pretend like I don't sometimes for just to make it interesting, but essentially this was about the 7th time I tried to get them to fight, and I tried to force them to fight each other. I thought at the least the MiG-15 would shoot at the other one, and the C-101 would ignore, but that's not what happened. So they were flying around for so long, I just gave the win to the MiG-15 because it was going to win. Now I wish they would have shot at each other. Now we've got the F-15 versus the K-50. The F-15 had a shot there and tried to take it. The AI, and again, they're both set on high skill level, but this F-15 AI is just absolutely stupid. Here he's got another shot. He's lining up, except he didn't line up quite right. Okay, he almost got him. The K-50 gets some shots back. Oh, I thought the F-15 was going to take some hits. but I don't think it did. The K-50 was doing a good job of staying inside his turn circle. It's not hard to do. I don't know who I was rooting for here. I mean, the F-15 is my favorite, I guess, but this is the first match that I set up with a helicopter against a fighter. So I kind of was wondering if the helicopter might surprise me, and then this happened. He bailed out. The F-15 pilot bailed out. He spent way too much time going in full afterburner and then immediately hitting his brakes. And the K-50 stays alive, so the K-50's moving on, which is unfortunate, I think, for later in the tournament. But we'll see. We will see. And now we have got the JF-17, which I think is a pretty cool jet, actually. And we got the I-16. Let's see what happens here. The JF-17, I don't have that module, and I probably won't get it because it's not something I'm that interested in. But the JF-17, it looks like it's a little bit of an older design, but it actually has some really cool design features. As they fly past each other in the merge, they're both engaging, so that's a good sign. We're already getting a more interesting fight than we've had yet. But yeah, the JF-17 has some interesting design features that I think are actually really smart. And I think that it shows that you don't necessarily have to have an extremely expensive fighter to have some really good characteristics. So I don't know, the JF-17 is very intriguing to me, and is actually a pretty cool looking jet. And I think it's based on what I've seen, I think not in the sim, but in data, you know, basically on paper, it looks like it's a pretty capable aircraft. So he's flying away really fast, popping flares. I'm not really sure if this high-skilled AI pilot is got great situational awareness. You know, he is extending, and I guess that's okay, because then he can turn around and make another head-on pass, I guess. But we haven't fired any shots yet. This guy can't decide on which way he wants to turn. This is also kind of a cool-looking aircraft. I don't know much about the I-16, but... okay, so he's turned in. Let's see here. See what happens. That's a really cool paint job, too. Oh! I didn't catch that there were shots fired there last time when I was watching. So, turning again, well, he can't decide which way he wants to go. Whoops, got my head tracking a little messed up there. So, okay, I think he's heading towards the I-16 now. Can't see. Oh, yep, there we go. Oh, man. One quick burst and he's done. So, and that's smart. He, I guess that pilot was pretty good. This pilot bailed out good. He is okay. Quick burst is all it takes when you're on target, I think. But you don't want to waste a bunch of ammo. So next we got the Mi-8, and I've loaded him up with gun pods, and he is against the F-18, and this is a skin I did for some guys across the pond. I've done a decent number of skins for them, but this one I kind of like. I like the checkerboard thing that they sent me to put on there. That was a long string. He got him. That guy is going down. The Mi-8 is hit. Looks like he dropped all of the gun pods. Oh! And maybe he's got some... Yep, he's got a Call of Duty health revive thing, or health... his health goes back up after a few seconds if he doesn't die outright. So, and actually, all those guys are just chilling in there. They're like, we're okay. So when this was going on, I was really hoping this F-18 would re-engage, but it didn't. It just kind of ignored them, and they just go into land, and for about 10 minutes, everybody just flew around trying to land. and the helicopter didn't do it with any kind of intentionality. The helicopter kind of flew around and then flew down the runway, as you'll see here in a minute. And I kind of wanted the F-18 to land first so I could give the victory to the Mi-8. Just because the F-18 was being kind of dumb. The AI was really wonky. But I decided, you know, if this guy lands first, he did get hit pretty good. If he lands first, then the F-18 would win. And right here, I thought the F-18 was circling around to try to take another pass, but he just flew over the top of him, didn't even bother looking at the helicopter. So that's one tough helicopter. He took a pretty solid burst there, got his engine on fire, and I don't know if it's got, you know, extinguishing agent or something that they used. They dropped their pods and then headed for home. So pretty tough bird. So here, yeah, he's gonna like drop his gear, start extending it, then retract it, and he did this a bunch. This is just a small portion of how much that F-18 couldn't make up its mind. And then this guy, very, very slowly, he's gone down that entire runway. I cut all that out, and then he gets his hoopty going on. A little bit of a hard landing, but didn't get a tail strike or anything, so he loses. I can't give it to him. I've got to give it to the F-18. He got shots on target, and the other one touched down first, and then he just couldn't make up his mind. I think what happened was he wanted to land on the runway that the helicopter was on. But there's like a billion other runways to choose from. And he just kept flying around. And he'd get going really fast, then he'd extend the speed brake, extend his gear, retract his gear, turn 8 different directions. And yeah, and he's going way faster than he should be going with gear extended. It's like 440 knots, something like that indicated. So gear up. Yeah, it was frustrating. Anyway, the F-18 moves on. So that was a little bit of a boring fight, but it was kind of funny with the AI being just stupid. The AI's got to be improved at some point. So here we've got an AV-8B versus an Su-25. Now I've been shot at by Su-25s before in this game. So hopefully this guy will engage, or they'll just wave at each other as they fly by. They're still flying straight, still just flying along. I don't know what that gun pod's for. So yeah, eventually the Su-25 landed first, so I have to give it to the AV-8. They did not even act like the other aircraft was in the map. Now, I know they're ground attack aircraft, but I've been shot at by them before. And so... Alright, moving on, we've got the UH-1 Huey with some miniguns all over it. Up against the F-16. Now, so far, I think we're 50-50 on helicopter versus jet fights, with the jets running out of fuel once, and the helicopter taking some damage and landing once. So let's see what happens. Oh, a very solid burst from the F-16, and the UH-1 is done. He is out of the sky. Lost rotors, lost his boom, and these guys are just riding it into the dirt. They don't even care. So, we got us a crater on the strip, and the F-16 moves on. No big surprise there, but based on the stupidity of the other jets, I was kind of wondering if this guy was going to botch it. But he moves on. So now for the last fight of this round, we've got the MiG-19 against the A-10. Now, I really want the A-10 to make it, but I don't think he's going to. The MiG-19 is fast and powerful, flies really well, very pretty aircraft. But if the A-10 could get on target by chance, possibly. Now I'm not for sure agility-wise. I mean, the MiG-19 should be more agile The A10 can maneuver pretty well, and he doesn't have a lot of weight, so it's possible. We kind of have almost a second merge there. They're a little bit... the MiG-19 was inside the circle, I guess, there, but... He's just got a lot of power to climb and to gain speed, where the A10 can turn okay, but is just never going to be able to match the climb. I can't get my view just quite right there, so we'll switch. The MiG-19 can definitely extend and then kind of get lined back up. Oh, and it looks like he's pretty good on target here. And there it is. That was a really good burst. The A10 is going down hard, and the MiG-19 is going to move on. So, so that's that. That's this round, and or this half round. We'll do the other half of the round later in the next video, and then that will move us on to round 2, and then some from the losers bracket, and we'll work it out from there. So, anyway, I hope it was at least somewhat enjoyable, even with the slightly boring matches and people not shooting at each other. And thank you for watching, and take care.